Welcome to Golden Bachelor. If you love celebrity news and real entertainment updates, you're in the right place. It was supposed to be a fairy tale, a love story for the ages, a show that would remind the world that romance doesn't fade with time, that hearts don't age, and that love can bloom even in the golden years. But now, the fairy tale might be falling apart. The Golden Bachelor, once the most talked about spin-off in reality TV, is suddenly facing one of its biggest heartbreaks yet: disaster ratings, fading buzz, and rumors that the network might pull the plug. Fans are asking, is this really the end? Or can this golden dream still shine again? Let's rewind, because this story didn't start with failure. It started with magic. When the first Golden Bachelor premiered, it was an instant hit. Millions tuned in to watch Jerry Turner, a 70-something widower with a soft smile and a heart full of hope, step into the spotlight. For the first time, we weren't watching influencers or models in their 20s chase clout. We were watching people with stories, people who had lived, loved, lost, and were still brave enough to try again. Jerry was charming, emotional, and sincere. His tears were real, his laughter was contagious, and his journey reminded everyone that romance doesn't end with retirement. The nation fell in love with him, and so did the women competing for his heart. The show had warmth, humor, and honesty. It wasn't about petty drama or catfights. It was about rediscovering love after loss. It was about courage, the kind that takes decades to build. But fast forward 2 seasons, and that golden glow has started to fade. Season 2 brought in a new lead, Mel Owens. On paper, he looked perfect, a former athlete, handsome, confident, and ready to find his forever love. Fans thought he'd bring a new spark, but instead, he brought controversy. Early in the season, Mel made a comment that instantly backfired, saying he wasn't interested in dating women over 60. It was supposed to be a lighthearted joke, but fans didn't find it funny. Social media erupted. People called him out for ageism on a show literally about celebrating love later in life. It was the first crack in what was supposed to be a flawless new chapter. Then came the pacing issues. The editing felt rushed. The conversations felt scripted. The spark, that natural, heartwarming chemistry from Jerry's season, was missing. And viewers noticed. Episode by episode, ratings dipped lower. Comments on social media went from excitement to frustration. Fans said things like, "It just doesn't feel the same anymore," or "Where's the emotion that made this show special?" Even longtime Bachelor Nation supporters, people who never miss a season, started tuning out. Behind the scenes, producers reportedly began scrambling. The concept had been revolutionary, but now it seemed to be struggling to sustain itself. What was once golden now looked a little tarnished. So what went wrong? Part of the problem might be what made the first season so beautiful: authenticity. The first Golden Bachelor didn't feel like a TV show. It felt like a story about real people. But when producers tried to repeat that magic, it started feeling like just another formula. And that's the danger with reality TV. Once the freshness wears off, it becomes a script instead of a story. Another issue, the tone. Season 2 leaned more into the typical Bachelor-style drama, the jealousy, the rivalries, the overproduced tears. But that's not what fans wanted. They didn't tune in to watch seniors fight over a man. They tuned in to see people fall in love again, with all the humor, vulnerability, and sweetness that comes with age. Remember those funny, awkward, heart-melting moments from the first season? The dance lessons, the cooking dates, the karaoke nights that ended in laughter and hugs? That's what people fell in love with. The Golden Bachelor wasn't supposed to be dramatic. It was supposed to be delightful. But despite the missteps, we have to give credit where it's due. Mel Owens did have moments that reminded us why this show exists.
There were genuine connections, emotional goodbyes, and even a few unforgettable love confessions. But by the finale, the numbers spoke louder than the roses, and they weren't good. Now rumors are swirling that the network might hit pause or even cancel the franchise altogether. And if that happens, it would be bittersweet, because despite its flaws, The Golden Bachelor still represents something truly special. It showed the world that love isn't limited by age, that passion, chemistry, and butterflies don't disappear with wrinkles or gray hair, that laughter and longing don't belong only to the young. It proved that life's second acts can be even more beautiful than the first. So maybe this isn't the end. Maybe it's just an awkward chapter in a bigger love story. Imagine this, a reimagined Golden Bachelor, with more humor, more warmth, and less forced drama. Maybe a season that feels like a romantic comedy instead of a
older
competition.
singles going on group adventures, traveling, dancing, cooking together, laughing about how modern dating apps make no sense. Imagine a man reading love letters instead of swiping right. That's the kind of television people crave. Something real, something human, something hopeful. The truth is, people are still rooting for this show. They just wanted to get back to what made it golden in the first place: joy, connection, and authenticity. The idea of celebrating love later in life is powerful. It breaks stereotypes. It gives hope to widows, divorcees, and anyone who's ever thought their chance at romance had passed. And that's why The Golden Bachelor matters. It's not about fancy dates or perfect endings. It's about the courage to try again when your heart has already been through a lifetime of ups and downs. If the network decides to move forward, they have an opportunity to do something truly beautiful. Bring back the sincerity. Bring back the laughter. Bring back the magic that made people believe again. And maybe, just maybe, let's see a love story that doesn't end in heartbreak. Because if we're being honest, that's part of why fans are frustrated. The first Golden Bachelor wedding didn't exactly end in happily ever after. It ended in divorce, and that hurt people who had invested their hearts in the story. They wanted to believe that love found later in life could last forever. When that fairy tale cracked, it made viewers skeptical. But you know what? That's real life. Love isn't perfect. Relationships are messy, whether you're 25 or 75. And maybe that's what makes it so relatable. Maybe instead of chasing perfection, the show should embrace the imperfections. Show the awkward silences, the nervous jokes, the quiet moments of understanding. That's where real romance lives. And the audience would respond to that. Because the truth is, people are tired of fake. They're tired of drama that feels scripted. They want laughter that feels spontaneous, conversations that feel honest, and kisses that feel earned. If The Golden Bachelor can rediscover that formula, it could absolutely make a comeback. Think about it. Senior citizens falling in love under fairy lights, holding hands while slow dancing, sharing stories of first loves and second chances. There's something profoundly beautiful about that, something timeless. And let's not forget, The Golden Bachelorette is still part of this universe. Joan Vassos' season may not have broken records, but it had something even more valuable: depth. Her story resonated with viewers who saw strength, grace, and authenticity. She showed that women in their 60s can be vulnerable, confident, and radiant all at once. That's the kind of energy the entire franchise needs to recapture. So no, maybe this isn't the end of The Golden Bachelor. Maybe it's a wake-up call. A reminder that people don't just watch for entertainment, they watch because they want to feel something. They want to see hope. They want to see that it's never too late to fall in love, to start over, to say, I'm ready. And that's the essence of The Golden Bachelor. Not the drama, not the ratings, but the message. So, even if the cameras stop rolling, the story continues. Somewhere out there, someone is watching reruns of that first season, smiling at Jerry's goofy grin, tearing up at a heartfelt confession, and thinking, maybe love isn't over for me either. That's the real legacy of the show. So, whether the network cancels it or brings it back bigger and better, one thing's for sure. It changed the conversation. It made people believe that love isn't just for the young. It's for anyone brave enough to try again. And honestly, that's worth more than any ratings chart. Because love, real love, doesn't care about time slots or demographics. It doesn't care about primetime competition or viewer metrics. Love just happens. Unexpectedly. Beautifully. Maybe the Golden Bachelor has stumbled. Maybe it's had its awkward moments and controversies. But like any great love story, maybe it just needs a little space to breathe, to grow, and to find its rhythm again. After all, the golden years aren't about endings. They're about second chances. So here's to hoping the show gets one too. Because when it does, it might just remind the world what forever really looks like. Thanks for watching Golden Bachelor. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next big story.